Hi everybody, welcome back, welcome one and all to Jimmy's First Gen Mini Rescue. I'm Jimmy, and I maintain these three that are running mini first generation Mini Coopers. I also maintain this 2014 Subaru Forester Premium, no supercharge, no turbocharger on this one. And we also have another orange convertible that my problem child, and I'm in the process of working on that one. Anyway, it's a little bright out here, a little hot, but it's not as humid as it has been, so that's a good thing. But what I wanted to show, today's video is about what I do monthly to maintain these cars in the condition to where I can just hop in one, fill it up with gas, and drive anywhere in the United States that I choose at any time without, I don't have to go and get new tires. I don't have to go and, have the clutch work done, or I don't have to go and I got an engine miss or something. I maintain them all so that on a moment's notice, any one of these vehicles, an emergency situation, I got to drive to Louisiana or Texas to go be with family members, we can hop in any one of them and go. But let me read today's fortune, and then I'm going to show you what I do just as a mental check, monthly. And I also write notes on things that I need to get done at the dealership that I can't do here. Like for instance, I do know this blue one, I want to get an alignment done on it because I did a lot of the front end work. I had the subframe down and to replace the clutch, and I changed bushings and all that stuff. So anyway, I do have it scheduled, but they were behind. So anyway, let me read the fortune and get that out. Okay, the fortune is: the secret of vast riches begins with a single penny. So, it's not going to be instant. Over time. Start with like one step. Start one step, a penny. Save more, save more, save more. Anyway, so that's the secret to vast riches. Starts with a single penny. And again, this is fortune cookie wisdom, words to live by. Anyway, so that's the book. Put this up here. Today's Friday, and we were just in the house talking, and we're like, we haven't been out like to South Carolina, the islands, the Barrier Islands out there, or North Carolina, Barrier Islands, in a while. So we were gonna drive probably the convertible because you put the top down, you're at the beach, it's all good. But my monthly thing that I do is I check the oils on all the cars, check the oil. I check the coolant, power steering fluid, and then I top off the washer fluids on all the cars. I have my air compressor here. I check all of the tire pressures. I don't run flat tires. These are regular tires. They're all the same actually, except for the convertible up there. They're a little bit skinnier than the ones on these two and the orange. But that's fine. That's fine. But they're the same brand, same tire, whatever. So I'll check the tire pressures and do all of that. So that's what I do on a monthly basis. I do that with the Subaru as well. I check the oil, the coolant, the power steering fluid, the works, and the tire pressures. And that way, if I know I check it once a month, if I had to leave emergency-wise, I don't have to check them to go. I could just go. And that's how I maintain all my vehicles. I'm also going to show you what I do in the minis specifically when we are going to travel any kind of real distances. Someone asked the question, what do you use? What do you travel with when you go? There's certain items that are specific to the Mini that I choose to have with me, and then certain things that I don't carry because they're available elsewhere. But I'm going to show you all of that, and I'm going to show you what I do. Let's get started on these. Now, I always do the Subaru first because this is the car that Sharon drives and it's more important for her. So I just wipe off the oil. This is where the windshield washer fluid would go. And we're just above the half quart mark in here. So that's plenty of oil on the Subaru. There's a dot in here, and the oil level was just above, so, or just below the top dot. So I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it plainly. The level is about right there. In this Subaru, that's fine. The way this car burns oil is it usually will burn 1 quart in between oil changes. So I have a half a quart to go, and when it gets a little bit closer to the low mark, I'll add a quart, and then the next time it's time for a change. So I'm gonna fill up the windshield washer fluid. Oil is fine. Gotta throw the blue water in there. Throw some more blue water. No such thing as overfilling blue water. I can see the brake fluid level is back here. The brake fluid looks good. I think the level looks good, but it's looking a little dark. So I'm gonna write that on my list that I'm gonna need a brake fluid exchange. Looking down here, this is the coolant tank reservoir. And I'll bring you guys around to the side, but it's right at the full mark. Okay, this is the coolant tank, and it's right at the full mark, which is right here where my finger is. And the level is there. You can actually look inside, and it's fine. This is the oil filter, and that's where you add oil. So, and then of course, the brake fluid mark, that's low minimum, and this is the actual high mark here. So it's perfect there. Battery looks in good condition, oil's fine. I changed the belt the last time you saw that. So this car is pretty much good. And when I start checking tire pressures, I'll check this one as well. Okay, let's move on to the gray and white Mini. Again, this one is the 288,812 miles. Looking at the reservoir here, looks low. Yeah, it's right at the low mark, so I'll leave the top off. Or actually, let's check the oil. Sometimes getting the oil dipstick out is hard. If you twist it a little bit, that helps break the seal. And what I do is when I wipe it off, I usually use some of the oily part of the rag to oil up the O-rings. That's just a little quick tip. Put it in. Pull it out. And I'm right at the tip, so I'm a quart low in this car. So we will add a quart of oil. I always keep oil on hand. Mini recommends the Castrol full synthetic. Let's see, I got some. Castrol Edge full synthetic 5W30. That's what Mini recommends. That's what we get. I buy this, a bunch of it. I'll give that a minute to reach the sump. And we will get the coolant. I have plenty of coolant on hand because when I did the clutch, of course, I took the radiator off. I filled it a little bit above the mark, but it'll be fine. On here, on this car, I have the washing headlights. The passenger side, that's for the windshield. Driver's side is for the headlight washers. I'll fill them up too. Well, since we're going to drive the convertible, I'll check that first, and then I'll fill this up afterwards. Okay, this is the convertible. The water looks fine. I might add a little bit to that. Oh, something I didn't check on. Oh yeah, power steering is full completely. Power steering is tucked back there. This has an M7 strut brace on it. I found this at a U Pick'em Parts, so I picked it. Let's see what we're working with here. And we're completely full here. So oil wise is good to go. We'll add some. Brake fluid looks good. We'll add some perfect. Again, I spilled a little bit. That's okay. And this car only has washers for the windshield. It doesn't have headlight washers on here. So just worry about this one. Right. So this one is fine, and we can close it up. All the tops are on, everything is good. Good to go. Let's go to the next one. Some of you may remember this car. It was the one I changed the clutch in recently. So let's see. Since I've changed the clutch, the level is good for the coolant. Can you do that left-handed? There we go. I had changed the oil at the same time. Obviously I did. Oh, this one is a Craven Speed Craven Speed dipstick. These dipsticks have a tendency to break, and you got to do front end service mode and take the dipstick out and the dipstick tube removed in order to get the dipstick. What Craven Speed does is they have these that are they're stretchy and they're, I don't know, stainless steel, and you put it through and you look through the hole. There's a hole, and when you look through it, like right now, there's no oil in there, but when the level, you'll see the level, and they don't break. Now they're expensive. Yeah, it's full all the way up to here. They're expensive. However, I got this one at a Texas U-Pull-'em parts place. It was in the car, so I paid $2 for mine. I have the original in the trunk of this car, just in case I need to cross-reference, but everything seemed to work fine. This one does have the headlight washers, and it has the windshield washers. Excuse me. I'm gonna have to buy some more of this stuff. And of course, I had checked that brake fluid when I did the clutch service, and I filled up, and it's still full because I had put the new reservoir on when I did all of this service. So this car is good to go as well. Okay, the final thing that I do for my monthly checks is tire pressures. So let me show you where you can find the tire pressures. Here on the door, here's all your tire information, and it tells you front and rear. For us, 35 PSI. So what I'll do is I'll go around and check all 4 tires. And if they're not at 35, I'll make them 35. I have a pancake air compressor, and that's what I use. So I'm gonna do these and you won't need to see it all. But okay, I'm gonna also check the tires in the Subaru. However, this one's a little bit different. On the Minis, all 4 tires are 35 PSI. On the Subaru, the front tires are 30 PSI The rear tires are 29 psi, but it may have something to do with the symmetrical all-wheel drive system. I have no clue, but I'll go 30 on the front, 29 on the rear. I'll show you the sticker when I get to the driver's side. Let's show you the door card here. Okay, on the driver's door, in case you don't know, I'll do it. This is where it's located. You can see here it says front 30 psi. Try not to get you in the shadow. Rear 29 psi. So, there you go. Okay, that pretty much sums up what I do monthly to all of our vehicles. I didn't do the van because we haven't driven the van since it was last done. However, just like the Subaru has 2 different tire pressures, the van does as well. 50 psi for the front tires, 70 psi for the rear. So that pancake thing goes up to like 150 pounds. So I can check them at home. A lot of the times, regular gas stations, they don't go up that high to 70. So I check everything before I leave to go anywhere in the van. And that way, you know, I don't have to worry about it. I also have an inverter. If I ever needed to just take that with me, I can plug it into the inverter and pump up the tires as needed. I was thinking about getting one of those 12-volt off-road tire pressure things, pumps that work with your car, and that may be something we do in the future, so I don't have to carry a pancake. And we just run the engine, run the compressor, and you got all the air you need on the go, which is, you know, could be good. Anyway, now having said that, let's talk about what I use or what I take with us in the minis when we travel for a long way, because some people say they're not reliable, some people say they're whatever. Again, I go with reliability first. So, but anything mechanical can break. We all know that. I have a small tool here that I got when I first bought that Mini, the 04. It's from Mini Mania, and it's just a reset tool. I can reset oil lights. I can reset service lights, things like that. I can check codes on this. It does clear some codes, but it doesn't clear all the codes. I have this. I keep this as just a quick thing when I change oil and do all that stuff. I can reset. I have another one that's like an intermediate. It's from iSoft. None of this is iCarSoft anyway. None of this is sponsored. So if you buy them, buy your own, whatever, do your research. But this one, I can check a lot more codes than that one, and I can clear codes. I can read the codes. There's a lot more that I can do. When we travel any distance, this goes in the car, usually in the door pocket or in the boot. So that goes in each particular car. Now, when I'm going a long distance, not for one day, a day drive or whatever, but if I'm going overnight, you know, North Carolina, Outer Banks, South Carolina, Florida, Louisiana, Texas, wherever we drive to, this bag I think I got it from Harbor Freight. Don't quote me on that. Again, not sponsored. But this bag goes in the back. And what's in this bag? Well, a fan belt. I run standard pulleys on all of the cars, so this fan belt will fit all of the cars. So I only need the one. Because if your fan belt breaks at 10 o'clock at night, you're stuck until the next day, and hopefully somebody has it. But why not carry one? Anyway, so I got a fan belt in here. One time we were down driving to Key West, coming back, we had a misfire, and it was on the number 3 cylinder. Well, it turned out it was the coil. I went to the Mini dealer in Miami, and they didn't have one. They could order one, and it was going to be 3 days before they got it. So I cleaned off all of the terminals, put some dielectric grease in there, and the misfire went away. However, I knew the coil was bad. I ordered 2 coils from my home Mini dealer, and I put one on the car, and I carry the other one in this bag. Because, again, these cars are 18 years old. The chance of an auto parts store having this, 0. So I carry it. I can change it on the side of the road if I had to, or if it's just a quick misfire, I can pull into a Walmart parking lot, change it, or an auto parts store if it's within store hours, and just change it, and trip not interrupted. On the tires, I don't run flat tires anymore. None of our vehicles have run flat tires. Let me knock on wood. But I do have a tire plug and patch kit. I also kept this on a motorcycle when I used to ride motorcycles. But it has the whole kit where you can put the plugs in. If you get a nail in your tire, you can ream it out, clean it out. It also had this little air compressor thing that has a little bicycle air, but I found this is useless. Motorcycle, it worked fine. But for the cars, it's useless. But it's in the kit, I'm gonna leave it. But you could usually find air at a gas station or a Walmart or wherever if you're traveling. So finding the air is not that impossible. You'll know because your tire pressure sensor will go off, and you'll check your tires, and if you see a nail, you can either make it really quick to a gas station and do the work at a gas station and have air available immediately. So I carry that in there. And I don't usually carry a full toolkit like this. Sometimes I do, but I take out what I don't need because it's not likely you're going to need everything in this kit. So if I'm traveling a long distance, I take out the standard stuff. I just leave in the metric, and then I'll put the ratchet back in, and so on and so forth. But it's very rare that you're going to need this whole kit. But it's small enough. I got this for Father's Day probably 10 years ago. And it works. It's a Craftsman, not sponsored. Last and final, you need a tool to change the fan belt on the Mini. A lot of mechanics, just shop mechanics, they don't know how to do it. I bought the tool, and you can show someone how to do it. If you have the tool in your car, you can show them how to use this. You can pull up a YouTube video, let them watch it, and then if you want a shop to do it, if you don't do your own maintenance, have the tool in hand. So I keep this in the back. I only need one. I stick it in each car that I travel with. And that's it. Some people say, well, why don't you carry full tools? Because they're available. You can borrow tools from auto parts stores for free, and you can purchase a tool as needed from a Walmart, and you don't have to carry all of that extra weight for the whole trip, and it's not needed. So I carry the basics. Oh, and each of our cars have the I took one out, the original jack setup. So all 4 of our cars have this. So there's no need to Even though you're not going to change the tire, you might have to take it off to repair it. Or you might have to take it off and then have AAA or somebody go repair the tire at a tire shop and then come back with the tire and put it back on. So I just carried a jack, and if you got to help someone else out, you got a jack. The wrench set is in here, or the, what do you call it, lug wrench is in here, so you don't have to carry an extra lug wrench and breaker bar. Sometimes it's nice, quicker, more efficient, but not necessary. So this goes. And but I keep one in every car because even driving locally, I want to have this, at least this. But that's it. That's my whole kit. It sits in the back when we travel. Doesn't take up too much room. Yeah, and then so we can still put our bags in there, or I can put this on the floor under the seats, inside the car, so it's all good. So that's what I do when I travel, and how I get away with not having run flat tires. So that's it for now. That's what we do. We're gonna probably take the convertible for a weekend cruise. Maybe we'll do some video and on where we go, what we do, whatever, and we'll include that somewhere in the next future video. Okay, everybody, I just want to do a quick follow-up. We're back from our weekend trip. We went to from here, Central Virginia, to Myrtle Beach. We took the scenic route, so like past Nags Head and all of this stuff down the coast, just to drive some hours. In total, we drove this car, 18 years old, 800 or 785 miles round trip. We stopped at a Buc-ee's on the way home in Florence, South Carolina, right on Interstate 95. And so if you haven't been to a Buc-ee's, did someone say Buc-ee's? Yeah. If you haven't been to a Buc-ee's and you're driving and you see one, it's worth rolling in there. It's not the biggest one. I think that's in Sevierville, Tennessee, the largest Buc-ee's, but they're a Texas-based operation. You would think the largest would be in Texas, but it's not. But anyway, so I've been going to Buc-ee's for some years now, since my sister and I have family living in Texas, and my other siblings are in Louisiana. So there's Alabama has Buc-ee's now, Florida has some Buc-ee's, Georgia. We're getting one about a half an hour from here, closer to the airport, to catch all of the people driving out to Virginia Beach, Nags Head, the Outer Banks. All those people that are coming from the north will pass that Buc-ee's. It's going to be another 3 years or so before they finish building it, but it's going to be exit 211 on I-64. So there you go. Anyway, car ran great. Like I said, 785 miles on. It's like 783 actually. I used about a quarter of a quart of oil. I'm only down a quarter, not even a half a quart of oil. We drove about 70, 75 miles an hour on the interstates. The car was getting 33 miles per gallon when we did the math. And yeah, so everything was great here. I still need to, I didn't adjust the headlights. I'm gonna do that this evening. But I wanna put them down a little bit because I think they're a little bit too high. And when you have extra weight in the back of this car, because we had our suitcases and that spare tool thing that I bring, the car sits a little bit lower in the back as well. So I am gonna adjust the headlights. But that's it. So it ran great. It was nice and hot. We run with the top down, and we turn the AC on too, you know, because we're not savages completely. We do like the top down, but we do like the cold air. So, and when you put the windows up with the AC, it's almost, you know, anyway. All right, so that was it. I just wanted to update that before I end this video. So that's it for now. I'm Jimmy with First Gen Mini Rescue, and have fun with your minis.